Have you ever wondered why there are so many cultures in the world? There are a lot of them. And what have we been talking about this week? James. Right, we've been talking about Guatemala and the culture of Guatemala. Exactly. What is culture, James? The ways a group of people learn to be. Okay, great, thank you. So, do you think that when someone is building their shelter, that's part of culture? I think it is. So what's physical environment? Hudson. Oh, our smart board blanked out on us. Right, Hudson says that the physical environment is what's going on around you on the outside. Well, so what are some examples, Hudson? Right, so we see a lot of trees in this picture, and that the physical environment here are trees. So that might be like the jungle or the forest. Okay, good. Are there any other examples of physical environment that you can think of? Ted? The oceans, sure. Layla? Mountains, Isaiah? Yes, desert too. Okay, great. Today we're going to be exploring different shelters around the world and why people build their shelters the way that they do based on their physical environment, based on maybe the fact that they live by a mountain or near an ocean or in an ocean, as we'll see later. And at the end of today's lesson, you will be able to describe some different shelters that exist in the world, and you will also be able to explain that physical environment influences how shelters and homes are built. So we're going to back up a little bit to talk about basic needs. So this slide on the smart board shows us some pictures of what basic needs could be. So Maggie, could you come up and circle, here's a smart board pen, circle something on here that you think is a basic need. Maggie circled food. Does everybody agree? Yes, food is a basic need. Okay, Tom, your turn. Tom almost circled candy, but he changed his mind and circled water. Tom, why did you change your mind? Because candy is a want, not a need. You remembered that from our other lesson. Very good. Okay, thank you. Grace, come on up and finish up. We have one more that we need to circle. I'll just give you a hint. Right, Grace circled a home. Right, well, how come you didn't circle the television? Because that is also a want and not a need, although some may think we need a television. Okay. So shelter. Take a look at this picture of shelter. What is shelter if you look at this picture? Tray. Somehow a way that we are protected. Okay, thank you. The actual definition is that shelter is a structure that is built to protect or cover you. And then there's different ways that your shelter can be built, and that's what we're going to talk about today. For example, in this shelter, this home, you'll notice lots of windows, a door, a roof. It's got 2 stories. It's basically shaped like a box. And the windows have a reflection of the tree here. What does that mean? Anna? Yeah, that the windows are made of glass. Why are the windows made of glass? Lauren? Sure, it's to protect the people living on the inside from wind and weather. Sure, right, exactly. And they don't want to be too hot or too cold. Exactly. Okay, so this next slide shows another home, a little bit different from this one. Oops. This home. I see some trees here, but in this picture, I also see trees, but I also see, what's this? Layla. Yeah, right, fields of corn. And who can tell me about these windows? How do they compare to the windows from the other picture? Nate. Right, there's no glass. Why? Maya. They may not need to be protected from things like the weather. Sure. Right, and maybe they need that cool breeze. Maybe that's a special way they get their air conditioning. Okay, we're going to watch a video about a Guatemalan home. Then we're going to watch another video about other homes throughout the world. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next video and then we'll talk about what we watched. Okay, that one was a little bit longer, and that one showcased shelters from all over the world. So we saw in the first clip the Guatemalan farm home, and in the second we saw a jungle tree house, a Sahara desert cloth home, an ocean home on stilts, the jungle leaf stick home, a mud home, and the Madagascar beach home. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to group up. We're going to meet in groups of about 3 or 4 students. I'm going to assign each group one of these homes. And what I'd like you to do is talk about what you saw in the video. Try to remember what some of the physical environment of that area were. And maybe you could discuss why you think they built their house the way that they did. Okay? So again, the physical environment, and why you think they built their house the way they did. We're going to come back to the carpet when you're through discussing, and someone from each group will share with us which home you had, what the physical environment was, and why you think they built their house that way. And when we're finished with that, we're going to take a short quiz, and then we're going to do a great activity building shelters. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Okay, go ahead, quietly back to your seats. Okay, everybody come on back. Quietly, quietly. Okay, now Quincy, who is the leader from your group that would like to share? Okay. So Ted, talking about the Guatemalan farm home, what was the physical environment of the Guatemalan farm home? Warm weather, breezy. Yeah, I heard a lot of baby chicks too, there were. Yeah, and the women were washing their clothes outside. They didn't have a laundry room. So how did they build their house? Right. There were no windows, or there were no glass on the windows. Right. They did a lot of things outside. And why was that? Because they needed to be outside a lot working on their farm. Okay, good. So the physical environment was warm weather, farmland, and they built their home with a lot of the things they needed outside. Okay, good. Good observation. Let's talk about another one. Who had the jungle tree house? Nate, was that your group? Okay, good. Let's talk about that. What did you notice about the physical environment? There were a lot of trees. They lived in the jungle. Right. They weren't, a lot of them were not wearing many clothes, so it was probably warm. But why was their house so high? Does anybody have any guesses? Joe. Joe thinks that there are a lot of dangerous animals that live there. That could be an idea. So maybe while they're sleeping, then they're safe. Okay. Very good. And should we talk about one more? Grace, which group did you have? Oh, you had the ocean home on stilts. Okay. Wow, I've never seen a home in the ocean. Have you? No. So what was the physical environment like? Right, it was ocean. And how did they build their home? They built it high up. And so why do you think they did that? Sure. so that they didn't get water flooding their home. Very good. All right, well, so I'm going to pass out a quiz, and I'd like you to, it's a multiple choice quiz, and I'd like you to circle the right answer based on the question. I'm going to walk around and help anybody that's struggling to understand some of the questions, but I think you should be able to handle it. Okay, go ahead, quietly back to your seats.